In the dim glow of a rainy Seattle morning, Emily stood alone on the edge of the Aurora Bridge, her fingers gripping the cold metal railing as tears blurred the churning waters below. The wind whipped through her soaked coat, carrying whispers of a life unraveling, lost job, shattered family, and a heartache that echoed louder than the distant traffic. But just as despair pulled her closer to the abyss, a stranger's voice echoed in her mind, warm and unexpected, from a coffee shop encounter days earlier. Those simple words, laced with genuine care, sparked a flicker of hope that would unravel a tragedy before it could claim her. Emily had always been the quiet type, the one who blended into the background of bustling city life. Growing up in a modest suburb outside Portland, she dreamed of becoming a teacher, inspired by her own high school mentor who saw potential in her shy demeanor. But life had a way of derailing dreams. At 28, she found herself in Seattle, working a dead-end office job that drained her spirit. Her marriage to Ryan, her high school sweetheart, had crumbled under the weight of infertility struggles and mounting debts. He left 6 months ago, taking half their savings and leaving her with an apartment that felt like a hollow shell. The final blow came last week when her boss called her into the office, citing budget cuts, and handed her a pink slip. Unemployment hit hard, but the isolation was worse. No family nearby, friends scattered by time, and a growing sense of invisibility that gnawed at her soul. That fateful Tuesday morning, Emily wandered into a small corner cafe called Brew Haven, a cozy spot tucked between high-rises in downtown Seattle. The air smelled of fresh espresso and cinnamon rolls, a comforting contrast to the storm brewing outside. She ordered her usual black coffee, her voice barely above a whisper, avoiding eye contact with the barista behind the counter. His name tag read Jordan, a lanky guy in his mid-30s with kind hazel eyes and a faded tattoo peeking from his sleeve. Jordan had worked there for years, serving everyone from hurried executives to homeless folks seeking warmth. He believed in the power of small gestures, a philosophy born from his own battles with depression after losing his sister to cancer a decade ago. As he handed her the cup, Jordan noticed the tremble in her hands and the dark circles under her eyes. Something about her reminded him of his sister in her final days, that quiet desperation hidden behind a forced smile. Instead of the usual "have a nice day," he paused, looking her in the eye. "You look like you've been carrying the world on your shoulders. If you ever need someone to listen, I'm here every morning. It's not much, but sometimes talking helps lighten the load." Emily froze, unaccustomed to such unsolicited kindness. She mumbled a thank you and hurried out, but his words lingered like a gentle anchor in her turbulent mind. The days that followed spiraled downward. Bills piled up, unanswered job applications mocked her from her laptop screen, and sleepless nights amplified the voices in her head telling her she was worthless. One evening, while sorting through old photos, she found a letter from Ryan, his final goodbye laced with blame. It pushed her over the edge. She decided that night, the bridge would end it all. No more pain, no more failure. She wrote a short note to her distant parents, apologizing for not being stronger, and slipped it into her pocket. As dawn broke the next day, she drove to the Aurora Bridge, a notorious spot she had read about in the news, where too many stories ended in tragedy. Standing there, the rain soaking through her shoes, Emily felt the pull of finality. Cars zoomed by, oblivious to her turmoil. She climbed over the low barrier, her heart pounding as she stared into the void. Memories flashed, childhood laughter with her brother in Oregon forests, the warmth of Ryan's early love, the emptiness that followed. But then, unbidden, Jordan's voice resurfaced. "You look like you've been carrying the world. Sometimes talking helps." It was absurd, this barista's casual concern piercing through her darkness. Why did it matter? Yet, in that moment, it did. It reminded her that she wasn't entirely invisible, that someone had seen her pain without judgment. Tears mixed with rain as she hesitated. What if she went back? What if she took him up on that offer? The thought twisted her insides, a mix of fear and fragile hope. Below, the water seemed less inviting now, more like a thief ready to steal any chance of redemption. With shaking legs, she stepped back over the railing, collapsing onto the wet pavement. A passing jogger noticed her sobs and called for help, but Emily waved them off, insisting she was okay. She wasn't, not yet, but the tragedy had been averted by a thread of kindness. Driven by that lingering echo, Emily returned to Brew Haven the next morning. The bell jingled as she entered. Her eyes red but determined. Jordan looked up from steaming a latte, surprise flickering across his face. She approached the counter, her voice steadier this time. I need to talk. He nodded without hesitation, signaling to his coworker to cover for him. They sat in a quiet corner booth, the cafe's hum providing a soothing backdrop. Emily poured out her story, the failed marriage, the job loss, the suffocating loneliness that had led her to the bridge. Jordan listened, not interrupting, his presence a steady comfort. When she finished, he shared his own scars, how his sister's death had nearly broken him, but a stranger's encouragement at a support group had pulled him through. "It's okay to not be okay," he said softly. "But you're not alone in this. Let me help you find some resources. There's a job center nearby, and a counseling hotline that saved me once." Emily felt a weight lift, not all at once, but enough to breathe. It was the first real connection she'd had in months, a spark of human compassion that reignited her will to fight. In the weeks that followed, unexpected twists unfolded. Jordan introduced her to a friend who ran a local nonprofit for women in transition, offering resume workshops and emotional support. Emily attended her first session, meeting others with similar stories, forging bonds that mended her isolation. One day, while volunteering at the cafe's community event, a free coffee day for the unemployed, she met Lisa, a school principal looking for a substitute teacher. It was a long shot, but Emily's passion shone through in their conversation. She landed the job, a stepping stone back to her dream. But the deepest twist came when Emily learned more about Jordan's past. During a quiet shift, he confessed that his tattoo was a memorial to his sister, a reminder to pay forward the kindness that had saved him. "Your words on that rainy morning, they stopped me from jumping," she admitted one afternoon. Jordan's eyes welled up. He had no idea the impact of his simple gesture. It bonded them further, turning a chance encounter into a lifelong friendship. As months passed, Emily rebuilt her life piece by piece. She moved into a smaller apartment, closer to her new school, and even reconnected with her parents over video calls filled with honest tears and forgiveness. Ryan reached out once, apologetic, but she had moved on, stronger in her independence. The bridge, once a symbol of despair, became a metaphor for crossing into hope. Today, Emily volunteers at the same nonprofit, sharing her story to inspire others. She often stops by Brew Haven, where Jordan still brews coffee with that same warm smile. Their encounter proved that kindness isn't grand gestures, it's the quiet words that echo in someone's darkest hour, preventing tragedies we might never see. This story reminds us that a single act of compassion can change everything. In a world full of unseen struggles, let's be the light for someone else. If this touched your heart, please like the video, subscribe to Pure Kindness Stories for more uplifting tales, and share it with a friend who might need it today. Together, we can spread the power of kindness.